Okay guys, going to try something new. Figured out how to record the game and figure we would give that a shot and see if people like it very much. And then if they do, we'll see about continuing that on occasion, and we'll go from there. So I still have the other dynasty going, of course, that is using the default game structure. This one, what I decided to do is what I had started to do when I had originally wanted to restart the dynasty, and we're going with a tribal setup with tribe members that are native to this planet. And you can see they're all wearing loincloths and fur garb. The biggest difference is their technology is much more regressed. They use bow and arrows, spears instead of guns, and so you start farther behind in the technology tree. The premise here, as you can see, you were one of a handful of survivors from the gods calling down fire and destroying your tribe. And so we have set off. Basically what I'm using is the hardest storyline on medium difficulty, and we'll see how that works out. I still wanted to go with trees here, so you can kind of get a picture of the landscape. So there are quite a few trees, not as many as in a tropical forest, but still enough wood that we can make do, and some hills, although not completely mountainous, so we don't have huge chunks of the map covered in mountains, just smaller areas. So most of the building here will be done out of doors, and we'll talk about the map a little bit more. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rename our characters. So let's take a look. Our first character here is Blue, but we are going to rename them, and I'm using a randomized list, and this is going to be Frankua. And then the next one is going to be Chris. The next one will be myself. Maybe I'm a guy this time. Then Brian. And lastly, we'll have Redbird. Alright, so taking a look at our guys, Frankua, female, 27, a weaver as an adult, expert at working on wool tailoring, trigger happy, a prostophobe, no bionic parts, don't like those. Trigger happy makes her shooting worse, which is not great. What I like about her, basically these fire marks, that's a level 1 passion, and you can see you get a times 100% leveling speed, and 2, you get 150% leveling speed. So growing is your farming, mining is digging out rock, and crafting is working on the various crafting benches that we'll have in the game. So what I like here is the growing is an 8. That will allow us to plant a lot of things, including some of the medical herbs. The mining will level up very fast, although as you saw on the map we don't have a lot of mining to do, and crafting, that will be a source of income, and then making things for the group, so that's real good there. The next is Chris, female, age 49, a cave tender, basically just taking care of the house and the kids. Good job. Just joking. Incapable of social skills, so they can't be a warden or a trader, things of that nature. Trigger happy again. Cold tolerant, not sure that'll be an issue here. steadfast, which is a minus 9% to the mental break threshold, so that's actually good. More melee targeted, which because we have spears and pilas and clubs as tribe members to start off with, that'll be actually really good. He has a passion for it. Medicine, he could be a doctor. He'll be a very good cook. These are on a scale of 20, by the way. Passion for mining, another great crafter. He can also do some research and has a passion, so he'll level up pretty quickly. For me, male, age 29, a gatherer, incapable of violence. So you notice there are no shooting or fighting skills, so he'll never be involved in fighting. Passion for construction, growing, and mining. So he'll be pretty good. Creepy breathing and dislikes women. Distrusts them. Well, that's probably fair. Brian, 48 years old, a shaman, a psychopath. Doesn't care about suffering of others. He is heat tolerant, so that may help out. Neurotic, 20% work speed, but a +8 to the mental break threshold. So if you follow the other dynasty, when I talk about having mental breakdowns, this is where that can come into play by having that happen more often. Again, really good with a passion for melee combat. Same with social skills. That comes into play for your trading and getting prisoners to join your group. Really good at construction. He can also chip into growing, mining, and research. And Redbird brings up the rear. He's the elder leader of the group, 72 years old, incapable of caring, so no medicine. A careful shooter, which gives us +3 and +25% to aiming time, so she shoots faster. An optimist, so a permanent mood effect, that's great and pretty. 10 in shooting, she'll be our main ranged with a bow to start off with, and hopefully we can get guns before too long. Melee of 8, we'll disregard that if she can shoot. Social and animals, she has a good passion for. Growing, so we'll have 2 farmers here that can grow pretty much anything in the game. She can craft and do some research, although not a passion for it. So I'd rather give that to someone with a passion that can level up faster, because then you start doing the task faster. Alright, so here we've got our fivesome. First thing I'm going to do is unforbid all the things that we brought to camp with us. And let's see, we're going to unforbid some wood here that's on the map. We'll do the rest of that in a minute. Alright, so just reminding myself. Alright, so Redbird and Frankua, I believe, will get bows. There's the other bow there. The Pila is a thrown weapon. Where's that at? Oh, did we not get one? We just got a spear. Okay. So the spear does 5 damage to... The club does 9 damage. And the blade does 6 damage. So let's see, 7 and 12. And I cannot even equip anything with RC because, well, actually I guess he can equip it, but he can't do anything with it. So we'll cancel that. He doesn't need to pick that up. Alright, so we've got weapons. We'll set our animal up for training. This is a warg, so we're going to train it for obedience and release, which it will be used in attacking because it's a violent animal. The other options are rescuing and hauling. Once he gets trained fully and released, we might train him to rescue as well, and then hauling with that one will be the last option. If you get like a dog or golden retriever or something, they can be taught to haul. They don't do it 100% of the time like a character would, but every little bit is helpful. Alright, so we've got our basis. Oh, we have another dog here. Cool. There's a husky. That one will be trained to haul. And we have 2 huskies. Great. In the standard game, you only start off with 1 pet. So starting off with 3 is unusual. Alright, so let's take a look at the map. Alright, we're going to want to unforbid all the wood. And we take a look at the map. Now, what you have to remember is we will be attacked. So you want to find a place that you can set up and is defensible to some extent. You'll notice these darker greenish brown areas. Those are, you'll notice at the bottom left, it has 140% fertilization, which means crops grow faster there. We have 100% here. This is rough granite, so you can't even grow there. So we're dealing pretty much with, there's 70% right there. Sorry for the break there, guys. Had to go take a phone call. Wish I could figure out how to stop the pause the recording, but not that talented yet. So anyway, we were talking about the growing speed. So I'm scrolled out as far as we can go. So if we look in, you have some walls, slate walls. You have sandstone mountain ridge there. If we, you've got some ruined buildings that we can salvage that from. Limestone. What you're looking for here is, like right here, you have some uranium, which is good to get. You can build some weapons with that later. Steel, that is much needed in the game. Let's see, what else we got? Oh, right here you've got some steel, but this is compacted machinery, which gives you electrical components. Now you don't have to tear these down. You can actually utilize them if you want to. So just kind of looking around. Attacks can come from anywhere on the map. So basically what you want to do is try to get everybody to funnel on an attack into a choke point. Now what I like to stay away from is mud, like right here. It slows you down drastically in walking. Plus you can't build walls or anything on it. And then one thing you'll notice if you ever start playing the game and you don't know this, you have this large room here. So you have the pre-built walls built into this mountain, and there are several that are like that, but it's not an actual wall. So that's just limestone. You have this, but it's empty and it's outside. You've got a small one here. So what you're looking for is rooms like this one and this one, and typically it's the larger ones. There are ancient evils that are inside here that will attack you if you break it open. And sometimes you need to do that for in-game to get last components that you need. So you want to be very careful when you're mining in from around that. So I don't see any metal in here, so most of this we'll probably just leave alone. But what you will have to watch out for is if fire starts, fire could destroy that possibly and open it to attack you anyway. So you'll want to kind of put that in your home area and, you know, take care of that not getting destroyed. It doesn't matter if you set up close to it, you just want to be aware of it. The fact that I would want to dig in, that would limit my expansion. Although I do have 2 pre-existing buildings I could turn into quick bedrooms, and I could wall this off, say here, and then I could eventually build walls from here to here to here to here and here, and kind of enclose this whole area and do all my building in this area in the center. I've got water down here. Also, one thing to keep in mind, you cannot build or destroy things in the last few frames. So let's see if I wanted to build a wall. So anything south of that line, you see it reds out. So, you know, now they can still attack from there, so you don't want to leave that open. Let's see, 70% fertilization. Typically you want to be close to a lot of ore for any mining that you do, because that way your guys are not having to walk all the way across the map. So we've got a big chunk of steel here, some components and more steel here, and this would be a good area that we can make some workrooms. Now, something else to keep in mind, in the last Dynasty post we had a bug infestation. Bugs only spawn inside rock enclosed areas, so inside the mountains. So if I never dig in there or never touch it, no bugs will ever appear. But then you lose access to a lot of stone that you need. But what's also good is you can build outside and just mine it out and have it hollow, and then they spawn in there, and you can handle it without them spawning in someone's bedroom if you build their bedroom in here, for example. Last thing you need is 3 or 4 people working in a workshop and the bugs spawn in there and kill all of them. So that's something to be cognizant about. These little holes in the ground, these are geothermal geysers. Once you get technology up to a certain point, you can access the steam energy, and that has a lot of power to generate for electricity. We've got a bear. They typically won't attack you. Let's see, this is some more uranium, so we've got a lot of uranium up here. Slate. We can actually take these walls apart, so there's some steel. More steel, a lot of steel up there. We've got some machinery here and here. We'll want that. There's some machinery there. Granite and slate walls. Oh, there's some gold. I'm going to go ahead and mark that to be mined right now. That's useful. There's a big chunk of steel, probably this whole corner here, but that won't be a ton. There's nothing in this one. Now there could be spots inside once you mine it out, but it's hard to tell. Alright, I think I'm going to build down in this area. Just double check. Alright, so there's our line. So I could actually use this wall as a southern border. and we want to be as close to the middle of the map as we can. So what I can do is actually build a doored hallway here to give us access out the south side and build our traps off to this side maybe. Alright, I'm going to put a cut in right here, so we'll pick up at the next video. I just don't want them to be too long for you guys to watch.